This is John. He's a factory worker. And this is Jane. She owns the factory. John and Jane have conflicting hopes for the future. John wants to take better care of his family. Jane wants to make sure that the factory is competitive and stays in business. So John demands a higher salary and shorter working hours from Jane. And Jane demands higher productivity and more flexibility from John and his colleagues. It's easy to get into conflict when the demands are contradictory and both parties have so much at stake. Conflict in the workplace can easily escalate into strikes and lockouts, halting productivity, hampering business, and leaving workers with no jobs. But what if John and Jane were willing and able to negotiate and perhaps reach a compromise that would improve both the conditions for the employees and make the business more profitable? Often, it's easy to agree on improving occupational health and safety at the factory and technical skills upgrading of the workers. This could happen through social dialogue. Negotiations can seem like a zero-sum game. If one part gets a large piece of pie, there's less for the other part. But social dialogue can grow the pie, leaving more to share. John is ready to negotiate, but he has many colleagues who all have their own opinions and demands. So who should Jane listen to and negotiate with? Social dialogue requires a democratic process that takes different demands into consideration. It's only possible if both parties are represented by someone with a clear mandate. Workers can organize in a trade union and elect a representative with the mandate to negotiate with the company on their behalf. Some issues are better solved at sector or country level than in every company. To do that, trade unions can organize in federations and confederations that can negotiate on behalf of larger groups of workers. Companies can also organize. They can band together in an employer's organization. In this way, they get a stronger common voice and can negotiate broader agreements. Both social partners must have the legitimacy and mandate to raise demands. Behind the scenes, each organization runs a process where they collect demands from their members and prioritize them through a democratic process. The two parties also need to have the necessary skills and knowledge to run the process. This capacity can be built through training in labor laws, negotiation techniques, or organizing. Altogether, it's about creating strong organizations and mutual respect for the process and the collective agreement. Now the two parties can negotiate collective agreements that apply across entire sectors of the economy. Because the organizations represent so many employers and workers, a well-made agreement can pave the way for the common objective: sustainable economic growth and jobs with rights, a safe working environment, and a decent salary. Sometimes employers and workers can even come together and cooperate on wider policy changes that will benefit both parties. For example, to convince the government to improve labor laws, infrastructure, and services. Improving roads, hospitals, and schools help create the conditions for competitive businesses, decent jobs, and social security. When both parties join forces to conduct studies, write position papers, and lobby, they have a much larger impact on the government. When employers, employees, and the government share experience and work together, they can create a labor market that everyone profits from. That's the real benefit of social dialogue.